So maybe a week ago or something like that, I started to see on X. I think we both did that. People were starting to point out that this huge collaboration with Johnny Ive and OpenAI, this whole iyO branding thing just kind of disappeared from the OpenAI website, and everybody's like, "What is happening here?" And it turned out that OpenAI is facing this huge legal challenge from a different company. I'm not trying to say this. It looks like iyO. It's small I, small y, big O, and which is a Google-backed startup over the use of this name. And so I thought, oh, well, that's kind of interesting until you realize that it goes way deeper than this. And a US judge has actually issued a temporary restraining order forcing OpenAI to halt all public use of this branding. So there's still a Johnny Ive, everything like this. But Jaden and I were just talking just before we came on just now, and Jaden was like, "Have you seen this? It's like turning into like this soap." I was like, "No, I haven't gone deep into it." So Jaden, you were sort of like sending me links and stuff like this. Like, talk to me about this.
Okay, it is an entire soap opera. And I think what really gets to the heart of it. Okay, so number one, the reason why I really wanted to talk about it on the podcast is because we've been speculating about what OpenAI and Johnny Ive's startup. They made this big, huge announcement saying for like $5 billion, OpenAI
Right.
is acquiring Johnny Ive's or merging with their startup, which is just called iyO. But they like never announced what the device was, but it's gonna be a hardware device, and we're like, what the heck is it gonna be? Okay, so we finally figured out basically from this lawsuit what the device is going to be. So
Mm.
that's what I think is like super exciting. And then of course there's just tons of drama around OpenAI. Everyone's saying that they're stealing this name of a company that formerly was working with them. So that was the accusation. There was a company that sent them their pitch deck and kind of told them what they were working on. Sam Altman eventually just said, okay, we're passing because we're building the same thing. And then I think that and then Sam Altman just put out a big tweet and he actually screenshotted the emails between him and this founder, which
Yeah.
to be honest, I
Crazy.
love the transparency because I feel like it kind of puts everything out there and like there's no I guess it's not like it kind of dispelled a bunch of myths, I should say. Okay, which is cool because I love it. Or like I hate it when there's a big lawsuit going on. Like I can't say anything legally about it. Blah blah blah.
Right.
Like you hear
Right.
that
Right.
so often. Sam Altman's like, I don't really care. Here's literally the screenshots of my emails. Now you know the whole story, and you can pick the side. And I actually pick both sides for different parts of this. So that's why I'm interested in this. I'll read his tweet first, and then I want to get your take, Connor, on essentially what we figured out this device with Johnny Ive is going to be.
Yeah.
But Sam Altman said Jason Rugolo had been hoping we would invest in or acquire his company, iyO, and was quite persistent in his efforts. We passed and were clear along the way. Now he's suing OpenAI over the name. This is silly, disappointing, and wrong. He's got some emails that I want to read because I think they're interesting. But basically, what it is, because we know what iyO is like an earbud. And like you mentioned, this was backed by Google, but it's like an earbud that has AI in it. You talk to it, and it's just like a good interface. In my opinion, this is better than the Humane Pin because that was a whole new device that you had to invent. I think it's on
Right.
par with the Meta Ray-Bans, and they're doing ones with other glasses companies as well. This is already something people wear. They already wear AirPods, earbuds, right? And so now that you could just talk to AI, I think that's super useful to just have that right in your ear. You don't have to pull your phone out. You could just talk and hear stuff. I like the glasses because you can do augmented reality in front of you or ask it questions about what you're seeing with a camera. So I think
Right.
that's cool. But I still think that these earbuds could be cool. You could technically put a camera on them. So there's no visual element, but I think there's a bunch of cool stuff. So just based off of that new device, I guess, what is your take, Connor, on if you'd actually use this? Is this a big deal? Was this worth the $5 billion and this massive lawsuit that they kind of got themselves tangled up in?
It's such a good question. I mean, I don't know, right? So I've tried, a bunch of different sort of wearables and things like that, and I was looking at this too. Like it's it won't be. It says it won't be in ear device, but then we sort of see that it looks like an in ear sort of like AirPod type of thing, which to me, excuse me, totally makes the most sense. But lawsuit aside, and I'm sure they'll clear that up and all that sort of stuff. It's just so dumb. Why? I mean, it's like using that fake Scarlett Johansson's voice for their first voice. It's like, man, really? Like this
Yeah.
is it's like they're tripping over themselves here. It's so
Yeah.
stupid. Like you have resources, endless resources. You could have any woman's voice in the world, and Scarlett Johansson's like, don't use my voice, don't use my voice, and there they go and use the voice. Also, you couldn't come up with something other than io, man. I mean, like,
Yeah.
this is another company that has the same name. It's killing me. So anyway, so that aside though, on the device stuff, I don't know, Jaden. I don't know much of these things that you've tried or haven't tried. So I have Meta glasses, and they're cool and they're sort of like fun. The battery isn't interminable or anything like that. It doesn't last that long, but it's not super functional right now. It's very gimmicky at the moment, right? Demos make it look always like, oh my gosh, I'm going to walk around. I'm going to say, hey, what's that? Hey, talk to me about this. Hey, how big
Yep.
is this? Or like, and it's just it just isn't like that, which is, and then we saw Google, I can't remember what Google's new glasses are called, but they sort of showed them off at the very end of io. Remember that? When
Yep.
and I think we were at io, right? So you saw this live. So they came out from behind the things, and they were doing it live, and it was working well and all that sort of stuff. But again, even when it's kind of like quote unquote working live, it's under a pretty tight demo, pretty tight standard series of questions and all that kind of stuff, which they probably made absolutely sure it was going to be able to answer those questions, etc. So I don't know, Jaden. I'll tell you sort of something that I've been thinking a lot about. When voice came out, right? I really thought that this would be the final frontier. So as you know, like what we do at AI Mindset, our company is, we do behavioral sort of like transformation to drive AI adoption at big firms. And so what we're our sort of like standard thesis is on this, and this is why we've been able to do this at scale at big companies, is that you can't just like roll out a device and or sort of like roll out Copilot, or just roll out ChatGPT and have everybody use it, right? What we say is like it's like putting a treadmill in every house in America and thinking you're going to cure heart disease, right? This isn't something that you have to learn. It's just a behavioral shift. So
Hmm.
the reason I bring all that up is because I really thought that voice and things like that would be the moment that would change all this, right? I kind of feel like, oh, now that people can actually just kind of talk back and forth with a device like this, it sort of like breaks that mental barrier that we have by trying to use ChatGPT and sort of like mistaking it for a search engine and that sort of thing, right? I'm like,
Yep.
oh, this is going to be great. It's just going to be like talking to somebody. However, even with latency really low, even though I love the voice mode, I love all that stuff, it didn't really have a material change in how people use these devices, as far as I can tell anyway. I mean, I think it's a great feature, but I say all that to say it almost feels like OpenAI, and I hope I'm mistaken on this, but it almost feels like OpenAI is feeling like, oh, we're cracking the code because now it's going to be like, an Alexa with you all the time and all that sort of stuff. The challenge, I think, really is that, do you remember the commercial that they had, or commercial, what I mean, like the sort of like the hype video with Johnny Ive, and they're like, oh, before you had to open your laptop and then open, like, no, you have it on your phone. It's really easy to use now. I think it's going to be cool. I think if people we're buying that stupid Rabbit R1, then they're going to buy this too. I'm going to buy this too. I want to check it out. But is that the thing that's going to get people using it? I mean, they already have a ton of people using it. I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts on that, but what do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think you're far off. I mean, of course, I want to try it just for the sake of trying it because it's gonna and like maybe it'll be good. Like that these devices in the future they can get really good. I see like a ton of value, especially when they work out the kinks on like the glasses. That's just like a no
Yeah,
brainer to me.
huge.
AirPods. I mean, it's useful to get, I guess, to do like an audio talk with AI. So to me, that kind of makes sense. But we'll see kind of where it goes. Okay, I wanted to read a little bit about the actual lawsuit or the email chain leading up to the lawsuit because I thought
It's
that was
so good.
interesting,
It's so
and I
good.
think
Yeah,
people should just get a little taste of the drama because this is kind of the
I
good
love
stuff if you
this.
haven't already read it. Okay, so the whole thing kicked off with an email from the founder of iyO, iyO, but I think it's pronounced io. It's Jason, and he emailed Sam. He's like, "Hey Sam, I'd love an opportunity to pitch you to invest $10 million in my AI meets audio hardware company, iyO. We're launching. We've been working on it since 2018." He asked him, or he said the cap of the company was going to be $195 million with a 1.25x pref. It was led by their manufacturing partner, which makes iPhone Pros and Pro Maxes. So, this seems like a pretty serious. They're building it in their
Yep.
Vietnam plant, he said. Anyways, he said voice interaction with agents is the future and speakerphone sucks. I would love to show you what we're building, whatever. So he asks for a meeting and Sam Altman says, thanks, but I'm working on something competitive, so I will respectfully pass, called io. So right up the gate, Sam Altman does tell him that they're working on something. But because Sam Altman hadn't announced it and this guy's already been running, I don't know if that really like gets Sam out of the woods as far as, I don't know, being like
Right.
seeming like a jerk for literally copying his name. So then he
By the way,
this
I'm looking at the
founder.
timestamps. All these timestamps are within like a couple of hours of each other.
Yeah, they're going back and forth pretty quick. So then Jason hits him back and says, Rutro, want to work together? I don't want to go up against you, man. He said, I'm just a zealot in making the AI augmented human thing real. And we're still tiny, 15 people, but we way out punch our weight. Whatever. He says, that he did a TED talk and then an Instagram clip that got 25 million views, and that he believes people are going to love it, especially in Japan where SoftBank Telecom might be interested. So, and that Babelfish, Search, Music, Super Hearing, all these other, companies are kind of working on it. Anyways, I think this is kind of funny because right off the gate, like, he's not like threatening. He's like, come on, dude, like, don't crush me like this. So I actually kind of love I love that because I think it's so funny. To which Sam Altman replies, let me chat with Johnny Ive. He's the one driving this. So now I think Jason knows he's in some serious trouble. Then they go and do like a demo of it, I think. And I guess during the demo, there was some sort of issue that failed. And he emailed at them afterwards and was like, hey, like, super sorry. We fixed the issue in the demo. I mean, come on, guys. You got to give them a little grace. Even Google crashes their demos sometimes. And you got to give them props for trying. But that was kind of, I think, the point that broke it, where if it wasn't like already perfect, Sam was not super interested. He said, well, okay, so then Sam Altman goes and does his launch with Johnny Ive, and he gets an email from Jason after that says, hey, Sam, I saw the launch today. I'm getting blown up on the name situation. Which, okay, like, let's be fair. I think that's the one point where I'm like, okay, OpenAI really messed that up. Just go pick a completely different name that doesn't sound like the literal competitor who you've been talking to. And even if you're like, we're better than you, we don't need you guys. Yeah, you probably. Anyways, he's then like, hey, if you want to work together, I'm down. We have some IP we can share. You can buy our IP portfolio, whatever. He's just trying to get acquired, and he knows like this is kind of a bad spot to be in. To which Sam Altman replies, I don't think there's a fit. Their device is very orthogonal to ours and doesn't really work yet. They offered that we look at their IP, but I doubt there's anything there. Tang knows their engineers since before and doesn't think we need them. Ouch. That's like, I feel like that's kind of like the ultimate like dagger in the heart. Like, we already know their engineers. We don't need them. So that is kind of where it ended. And now, of course, there's the lawsuit, and Sam Altman's like complaining because he's like, I made all this time to talk to him because I wanted to help him, even though we were going to crush him. And anyway, it's kind of funny to me. I think OpenAI, sure, go compete with other companies. I don't care. I think that's awesome. I'm excited for their product, and more competition is better. Copying their name, you're right. It's just like copying Scarlett Johansson's like voice. Like, just don't do that. Go pick a new name. Now it makes them have egg on their face.
And it's just like, you don't need that kind of bad press. And I know we're sort of like running a little late. I just love, I got to admit, I love the drama of it. What do you want me to say? Like, I like reality TV. But here's the thing that I love, Jane, just I'm sort of closing this one up. I just love that that he, as you said, that he like revealed the emails. It just gives such an inside peek into sort of like how these conversations are done, and they're done like any other company. I mean, these are billion dollars companies that are going to really transform how we work, and yet it's just an email back and forth. And I love that. I think it's just super cool.
Yeah, and if you think that a tool like this is going to be revolutionary, or maybe not, but you think others are, the number one thing I can guarantee you will think is revolutionary is Connor's AI mindset course. He has thousands of people that have seen this and have found so much value out of it. Essentially, it helps you completely retrain your brain and gives you some frameworks to completely rethink about how you actually use and interact with AI. It's all from this perspective of how to actually drive behavioral shifts with yourself and inside of your organization. So if this is something that's interesting to you, it has incredible rave reviews. I highly recommend it. We'll leave a link in the description to Connor's AI mindset course. I think originally he was like, oh, maybe I'll only offer this to, big Fortune 500 companies that, have like huge budgets and get it for their team. And then eventually he's like, you know what, I'll democratize this. I will give this to the people. So now it's available for everyone, and it is amazing. So highly recommend you check it out. Links in the description. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. We will catch you guys all next time.